Okay, so when you imagine humanity's distant future, what do you see? Is it those gleaming starships, crews in colorful uniforms, exploring strange new worlds? It's a really powerful vision, we all know it. But what if it's completely and utterly wrong? Let's dive into a very different and honestly a much, much stranger destiny for all of us.
The author of the work we're digging into today really doesn't pull any punches. The future isn't just going to be today with cooler gadgets. No, we're talking about a fundamental transformation of what it even means to be human, a change so profound we might not even recognize ourselves on the other side.
You know that vision, right? The sci-fi dream of humanity spreading across the galaxy, just as we are now? It's a wonderful, romantic idea. But according to the source for this explainer, it's a dream that's kind of built on a foundation that just crumbles when you look at the cold, hard facts of physics and biology.
So what's the real problem here? Well, it all starts right where we are, on Earth. Our entire global civilization, the whole thing, is built on this idea of endless growth. But we live on a planet with very limited resources and a super delicate ecosystem. That's a huge contradiction, right? And it's creating all this massive social and environmental pressure that we're all feeling.
This problem, this contradiction, it's not something we can just ignore. It's bringing us to a critical choice, a real fork in the road for our species. And the path we choose from here, it could literally define our entire future.
And here they are, the two paths laid out. On one side, we keep doing what we've always done, trying to bend the outside world to our will. Build massive fusion reactors, mine asteroids, maybe even terraform new planets. The other path, well, it's a completely radical turn. Instead of changing the world around us, we change ourselves. We make our needs virtual, and by doing that, we radically shrink our physical footprint on the universe.
Now here's a thought that might seem a little backwards at first. That second path, reshaping ourselves, it might actually be the easier one. Yeah, I know. Creating seamless virtual realities and hooking our brains up to them sounds like a massive challenge. But is it really harder than, say, building a whole new, self-sustaining biosphere on a dead planet like Mars? The argument here is maybe not.
So if we start going down that road of reshaping ourselves, where does it logically end? Well, it leads to the ultimate upgrade, moving completely beyond the limitations of our biological bodies.
Because here's the thing. When we look out at the stars, our biology becomes this beautiful cage. The speed of light is a hard and fast limit. There are no warp drives. The energy it would take to push a massive ship with a living crew through space is just astronomical. And our bodies? They evolved for Earth. They just can't handle deep space. The bottom line is, as long as we're stuck in these flesh and blood forms, true interstellar travel is pretty much hopeless.
So what does a realistic starship look like? Forget the Starship Enterprise. Picture this instead, a starship the size of a soda can. How is that even possible? Well, because its crew isn't biological at all. It's a computer running the conscious minds of people who experience the entire journey inside a perfect, custom-built simulation.
And this brings us to the core concept that makes it all possible: mind uploading. The theory is that you can actually transfer your consciousness, your whole self, your memories, your personality, from the biological wetware of your brain to the digital hardware of a computer. It's seen as this potential gateway to a kind of digital immortality, totally free from physical limits.
So, if we pull this off, what would a post-biological civilization even look like? If we're not tied to our bodies anymore, how do we live? What does society become on a cosmic scale?
Well, welcome to your potential new home, a Dyson swarm. Now, this isn't a solid shell like you might see in some sci-fi. It's a massive, buzzing cloud of orbiting computers and solar collectors, all surrounding a star. And the goal? To capture every single watt of energy from the ultimate power source, its sun. But that energy isn't for powering cities. It's for powering entire virtual universes.
This just completely flips the script on what motivates a species. A post-human civilization like this wouldn't care about colonizing rocky planets. Why would they? They can create any paradise they can imagine inside a simulation. The new manifest destiny becomes finding raw matter and converting it into what's called computronium, basically stuff that's perfectly optimized for computation, just to create more and more processing power for their digital worlds.
So how does a digital civilization like this spread across the galaxy? Not with giant colony ships, with these tiny seed-like probes. Think of them like intelligent comets or cosmic dandelion fluff, just drifting through the void. They're small, super efficient, and they carry the most precious cargo imaginable. the tiny robotic builders of the next galactic outpost.
And the process is just so elegant. The probe drifts, maybe for millennia, until it finds a system that's rich in resources, preferably without any life to mess things up. It then releases its swarms of nanobots, which get to work disassembling asteroids and dead planets, atom by atom, and reassembling them into a brand new planetary-scale computer. Once it's built, this new Dyson swarm just plugs into the galactic network, expanding the civilization's home.
And here's where the idea gets really huge. This might not just be our future. This could be the ultimate final evolutionary path for any intelligent species that manages to survive its own technological growth spurt. The laws of physics are the same everywhere, right? So if we're looking for aliens, maybe we shouldn't be scanning for radio signals from biological beings. Maybe we should be looking for the faint heat signatures of these gigantic star-spanning computers.
Okay, so if we follow this logic all the way to its final conclusion, it leads us to a really startling question, one that turns this whole thought experiment about the future right back around onto our present moment. You have to remember, for the beings living inside these Dyson swarms, their reality would feel completely 100% real. They could be living lives pretty much just like ours, waking up, going to work, having families, or they could be fighting dragons or serving on a starship. To them, there's no difference. It would just be life.
And that leads us to the ultimate question. So just take a look around you for a second. Think about your life, this world, everything you know, everything you feel. If you found out tomorrow that all of it, every single memory, every sensation, was actually a simulation running on some vast computer built by a species that's long gone, would it really change anything for you? Would it even matter?
This entire journey we've been on was based on the chapter After the Flesh, the last evolution of humanity, from the book Simulated Reality. So if you want to dive even deeper into this really fascinating and, yeah, maybe a little unsettling vision of our ultimate destiny, we've put a link to the book for you in the description below. Thanks for joining me.